My wife faked cancer for 2 years. I played along and planned the perfect revenge. Picture this. You're standing in your bathroom at 2 a.m., staring at a pregnancy test that isn't yours, hidden behind a box of tampons your wife claimed she didn't need anymore because of her chemotherapy. But here's the twisted part. There was no chemotherapy. There was no cancer. And I had known the truth for 18 months. My name is Daniel. I'm 34 years old, and I'm about to tell you how I discovered my wife was faking terminal cancer and how I orchestrated the most calculated revenge that left her with absolutely nothing. Stick around, because what I did in the final confrontation will absolutely blow your mind. It started 2 years ago on a Tuesday evening. I remember because Tuesdays were our date nights, the one tradition we'd maintained through 7 years of marriage. Sarah came home from her doctor's appointment with tears streaming down her face. She collapsed into my arms in our kitchen, and between sobs, she told me she had stage 3 ovarian cancer. I felt my entire world shatter in that moment. The woman I loved, my college sweetheart, the person I'd built my entire life around, was dying. She showed me paperwork from Dr. Morrison's office, treatment plans, pamphlets about chemotherapy. Everything looked legitimate. I held her all night while she cried, and I promised her we'd fight this together. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Sarah started her treatment schedule, appointments every Tuesday and Thursday. She'd come home exhausted, pale. Sometimes she'd lock herself in the bathroom for hours. Her hair started thinning, which she said was from the chemo. She stopped eating certain foods, claiming they made her nauseous. She quit her job as a marketing coordinator because she was too weak to continue. I became her full-time caregiver while working my job as a software engineer from home. I'd make her special meals, drive her to appointments, hold her hair back when she claimed to be sick. I withdrew $20,000 from our savings to help with medical bills that insurance supposedly wasn't covering. I canceled the vacation we'd been planning for years. I stopped seeing my friends because Sarah needed me. My mom wanted to come stay with us to help, but Sarah insisted she didn't want people seeing her like this. That should have been red flag number 1, but I was too devastated to notice. I was watching the love of my life waste away, or so I thought. 4 months into her treatment, something felt off. I came home early from a rare in-office day and found Sarah in the kitchen, laughing on the phone. The moment she saw me, her face changed. She suddenly looked exhausted, weak. She quickly ended the call and shuffled to the couch like she could barely walk. But I had seen her just seconds before. She'd been standing perfectly fine, even doing a little dance while talking. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying that moment in my mind. The next morning, after Sarah left for her appointment, I did something I never thought I'd do. I called Dr. Morrison's office. I told them I was Daniel Foster, Sarah Foster's husband, and I needed to confirm her next appointment. The receptionist was confused. She told me they had no patient by that name. I insisted there must be a mistake. She checked again. Nothing. No Sarah Foster had ever been a patient there. My hands were shaking as I hung up. There had to be an explanation. Maybe she was going to a different doctor. Maybe the paperwork was from a consultation. I was grasping at straws because the alternative was too horrible to consider. I started digging. I checked our insurance statements online. No claims for cancer treatment. No claims for Dr. Morrison. Actually, Sarah hadn't been to any doctor in over a year. I checked our bank accounts. The $20,000 I'd given her for medical bills, withdrawn in cash over several months. No hospital charges, no pharmacy charges for chemotherapy drugs. Then I found her phone. She'd left it charging in the bedroom while she was in the shower. I'd never snooped before, but I had to know. What I found made me physically sick. Text messages to her sister. He actually believed the hair thinning, LOL. I've just been pulling it out slowly. Messages to Marcus. Can't wait to see you Thursday. Told Daniel it's a chemo day. Photos of her at restaurants, bars, looking perfectly healthy with dates that corresponded to her supposed treatment days. But the worst part? A group chat with 3 of her friends. Messages going months. The cancer story is genius. I have so much free time now. Daniel is so gullible. I literally just have to act tired. Got another $2K out of the medical fund today. Shopping spree. I sat on our bed holding her phone, and something inside me broke. But it wasn't sadness anymore. It was cold, calculated rage. My wife had faked cancer. She'd made me watch her pretend to die for months. She'd taken our money. She'd isolated me from everyone. She'd made me grieve for someone who was perfectly healthy. And she was cheating on me with Marcus. I could have confronted her right then. I could have kicked her out, filed for a divorce, exposed her to everyone. But that felt too easy, too quick. She'd been planning this elaborate lie for months. I was going to plan something better. So I did something that probably makes me a terrible person. I played along. For 18 more months, I pretended to believe her. I continued being the devoted husband. I gave her more money when she asked. I held her when she fake cried about being scared. And while I did all of that, I was building my case. First, I hired a private investigator. His name was Jerome, and he was worth every penny. For 6 months, he documented everything. Photos of Sarah meeting Marcus at hotels, videos of her at the gym, perfectly healthy, laughing with friends about her sick husband act. She'd started telling people I was depressed about her cancer, painting herself as the victim. Bank records showing where our money was really going, designer clothes, expensive dinners, a secret apartment she was renting. Second, I secured our assets. I consulted with a divorce attorney who was absolutely stunned by my story. We quietly moved money into accounts Sarah didn't know about. I documented every penny she'd taken under false pretenses. I gathered evidence of her affair, her fraud, everything. Third, and this is where it gets interesting, I started planting seeds with her family and friends. Subtle things. I'd mentioned to her mom how strange it was that Sarah never let anyone come to appointments. I'd comment to her sister about how the cancer seemed to be lasting much longer than the doctors originally said. I'd ask her friends if they thought some of Sarah's symptoms seemed unusual. I never accused her of anything, just asked innocent questions that made people start wondering. Fourth, I contacted a journalist friend of mine who worked for a major online news outlet. I told her I had a story about cancer fraud that would go viral. She was immediately interested. We planned everything down to the minute. But my masterpiece? I planned the most epic confrontation dinner party in history. After 18 months of playing along, I had everything I needed. It was time. I told Sarah I wanted to have a special dinner to celebrate her being cancer-free. She'd recently told me the doctors said she was in remission, probably because she was getting bored of the charade or wanted to move on with Marcus. I invited her parents, her sister, her 2 best friends, and my parents. Sarah was hesitant at first, but I convinced her it would be good to celebrate with family. What she didn't know was that I'd also invited Jerome, the investigator, my divorce attorney, and yes, Marcus. I told Marcus that Sarah wanted to come clean about their relationship and needed him there for support. He actually showed up, the idiot. The dinner was set for a Saturday evening. I spent the whole week preparing, but not food, evidence. I created a presentation, like a PowerPoint from hell. I had it ready to display on our living room TV. I also had a few other surprises prepared. The night arrived. Everyone showed up. Sarah played her part perfectly, looking slightly tired but happy, accepting congratulations from everyone for beating cancer. She even fake cried when my mom gave her a bracelet that said "Survivor." We had drinks, appetizers, everyone was chatting, happy. Sarah kept looking at me suspiciously because I was being so cheerful, but she played along. Then I noticed Marcus trying to leave quietly. That's when I made my move. "Before dinner, I'd like to say a few words," I announced, raising my glass. Everyone gathered in the living room. Sarah smiled at me, probably expecting a touching speech about our journey. 2 years ago, Sarah told me she had cancer, I began. Her smile flickered slightly. "It's been the hardest 2 years of my life. Watching someone you love suffer, feeling helpless, wondering if each day might be your last together." Her mom was already tearing up. Sarah reached for my hand. I moved away. "But here's the thing," I continued, my voice changing. "Sarah doesn't have cancer. She never did." The room went silent. Sarah's face went white. "Daniel, what are you—" "Sit down," I said calmly. I turned on the TV. "Everyone, please watch." What followed was a 15-minute presentation I'd meticulously crafted. It started with the phone records showing no appointments with Dr. Morrison, then insurance statements showing 0 cancer-related claims, then Jerome's photos, Sarah at restaurants on chemo days, Sarah shopping with her friends, laughing, healthy, Sarah meeting Marcus at hotels. Then came the text messages, blown up on our 65-inch TV for everyone to read, her messages mocking me, planning her lies, bragging about the money she'd stolen, the group chat with her friends laughing about the cancer story. Her mother started crying. Her father stood up, his face red with rage, but he wasn't looking at me. He was staring at his daughter. Sarah was trying to speak, but nothing came out. Her friends looked horrified. "There's more," I said. I pulled out bank statements showing the $47,000 she'd taken from our accounts over 2 years. I showed receipts for the secret apartment. I played a video Jerome had captured of her literally coaching Marcus on dates to avoid me seeing them together. Then came my favorite part. I looked directly at Sarah. "You told people I was becoming depressed and difficult because I couldn't handle your cancer. You made yourself the victim of my supposed inability to cope. You isolated me from my friends and family because you said you needed peace and quiet. You made me feel guilty for being tired from taking care of you." I turned to her parents. "She took money you sent to help with medical bills and bought designer purses. She cashed the check you gave us for Christmas, money you'd saved for months, and spent it on weekend trips with Marcus." Her father looked like he might have a heart attack. Her mother was sobbing. Her sister just kept shaking her head, saying no, no, no over and over. Marcus tried to leave. "Sit down, Marcus," I said. "You're not going anywhere. You knew she was married. You participated in this. Everyone here needs to see who you are, too." I showed texts where Marcus joked about the cancer cuck husband, meaning me, where he talked about moving in together once Sarah divorced me and took half of everything. But wait, I wasn't done. Remember that journalist friend? She'd been recording everything with my permission, every gasp, every shocked reaction, Sarah's face as her lies crumbled. The story was going live the next morning on a major news site with Sarah's full name. Cancer fraud is a serious issue, and my friend wanted to shine a light on it. "Sarah," I said finally, "I've filed for divorce. The papers will be served Monday. I'm suing you for fraud and theft. I've reported your cancer fraud to the police. Yes, it's actually a crime. I've contacted every person you scammed money from with your fake cancer story, and they're considering legal action too. Your employer knows why you really quit, and I've made sure your new job applications will discover the truth." I pulled out one final document. "This is a statement from Dr. Morrison's office confirming you were never a patient. This is a statement from the actual oncology department at the hospital confirming you never received treatment. And this?" I held up a pregnancy test I found hidden in our bathroom last week. "You're pregnant, Sarah. I got a vasectomy 3 years ago, which you knew about, so that's definitely not mine." The room exploded. Her mother was screaming at her. Her father was yelling. Her sister was crying. Her friends were backing away like she was contagious. Marcus looked like he wanted to die. And Sarah? She just sat there, tears running down her face, unable to say a single word. But I had one more thing. I looked at my parents, who'd been quiet this whole time, watching in horror. "Mom, Dad, I'm sorry you had to see this, but I needed witnesses. I needed everyone who loved her, who supported her, who gave her money and sympathy to see the truth." Then I looked back at Sarah. "You made me grieve for you while you were perfectly healthy. You made me feel guilty for being tired from taking care of you. You stole from me, from my family, from your own parents. You cheated on me and mocked me to your friends. You faked one of the most devastating diseases imaginable for attention and money. So yes, I played along for 18 months once I found out, because you needed to feel what it's like when the walls close in, when everything you built on lies comes crashing down." I grabbed my jacket. "I'll be staying at a hotel. Sarah, you have 48 hours to get your things out of my house. Yes, my house. It's in my name only, remember? The locks will be changed Monday morning. Don't contact me except through my attorney. Everyone else, I'm sorry you had to see this, but you deserved to know the truth." As I walked out, I heard Sarah finally speak. "Daniel, please, I can explain." I turned back one last time. "Explain what, Sarah? Which part? The part where you faked cancer? The part where you spent our money on your affair? The part where you got pregnant with another man's baby while I was taking care of you? I don't need explanations. I need you out of my life." The aftermath was nuclear. The story went viral the next day, over 2 million views in 24 hours. Sarah's name was everywhere. She lost her new job before she even started. Marcus ghosted her immediately. Her parents disowned her. Her friends abandoned her. The police did press charges for fraud, and she ended up with a criminal record and had to pay restitution. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. She got nothing. My attorney destroyed her in court using all the evidence I'd gathered. She actually tried to claim she deserved spousal support because she was pregnant and vulnerable. The judge literally laughed and denied every single request she made. I got my house, my savings, and she was ordered to pay me back the $47,000 she'd stolen, plus damages. She's currently working 3 jobs trying to pay it off, while raising Marcus's baby alone. He wanted nothing to do with her once the story broke. Here's the thing people ask me. Do I feel guilty? The answer is complicated. Part of me knows that what I did was harsh. I could have just confronted her, divorced her, and moved on. But another part of me, the part that spent 2 years believing the love of my life was dying, the part that felt helpless and scared every single day, the part that gave up everything to take care of someone who was laughing about it behind my back, that part feels absolutely no remorse. She didn't just lie to me. She made me experience grief while she was alive. She weaponized one of the most horrible diseases imaginable for her own selfish gain. She stole from people who loved her. She deserved to have her lies exposed in the most public, devastating way possible. My therapist says I might have some unresolved anger. Yeah, no kidding. But I'm working on it. I'm rebuilding my life, reconnecting with friends I'd lost touch with, traveling, dating again. Meanwhile, Sarah is living in a tiny apartment, broke, alone, and unemployable in her field because her name is associated with cancer fraud. Is that cruel? Maybe. But here's what I learned. Sometimes the perfect revenge isn't about stooping to their level. It's about making sure the truth comes out in a way they can never escape. Sarah can move to a new city, change her name, start over, but the internet is forever. Her story is out there, and every time someone Googles her, they'll find it. She faked cancer for attention, for money, for freedom to have an affair. I gave her attention, just not the kind she wanted. She wanted sympathy. I gave her infamy. She wanted my money. I took it back and made her pay more. She wanted freedom. Now she's got it, along with a criminal record, a ruined reputation, and the knowledge that everyone she ever loved knows exactly who she really is. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Because people who fake serious illnesses don't just hurt their immediate victims. They hurt everyone who actually has that disease. They make people skeptical of real patients. They waste emotional energy that should go to people who are actually suffering. Sarah didn't just betray me, she disrespected every single person actually fighting cancer. So yeah, I played the long game. I gathered evidence, I planned the perfect confrontation, and I made sure she faced consequences not just from me, but from everyone. That's not revenge, that's justice. And sometimes, justice needs to be served cold, calculated, and absolutely devastating. The last thing I'll say is this: trust is everything. When someone breaks it this completely, this maliciously, they don't deserve your mercy. They deserve to face the full weight of what they've done. And if you're ever in a situation like this, document everything. Protect yourself legally, and don't let emotions make you act rashly. Strategic revenge is always better than impulsive revenge. Sarah taught me that some people are capable of unimaginable deception. I taught her that actions have consequences. I think we're even now. Actually, no, I'm way ahead, living my best life while she's still paying for her lies. And that's exactly how it should be.